everyone, and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the rain has passed, but we still have a 100% chance of drama this evening as New Mexico United play host to Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC in a matchup between two of the Western Conference's hottest teams. Welcome into the lab. My name is Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. And Chris, on one hand, we've got Switchbacks riding a 4-match unbeaten streak in all competitions. On the other side, you've got New Mexico, who are on an 8-match unbeaten run in all competitions. Simply put, something's got to give here tonight.
Yeah, Tyler, it's going to be a really exciting night to see how, like you say, the Western Conference as a whole, there's a group of teams that are really bang on form right now, and we're about to watch two of them go head-to-head, 4th versus 5th, and like I say, something's got to give. It's going to be a really interesting night here tonight at the lab.
Different fields, same home.
This is our community.
Built on teamwork.
Every second counts.
Suit up, show up.
Different goals, same vision.
One state,
One team.
we are united.
We are New Mexico.
Back here at the lab, kickoff just moments away between New Mexico United and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. It is girls in the game night, and let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineups this evening, brought to you by Will Ferguson and Associates. And Chris, what jumps out to you here as we look at this starting 11 from Dennis Sanchez?
Yeah, I mean, we've already mentioned Melto on the left-hand side. He may actually play off the right a little bit as well, but I think a special mention has to go out to Christian Nava, who's won back his, not just his starting spot, but his spot within the roster as well, and working so hard on the production he's having right now. Testament to that, and he keeps his starting spot when there's some very, very strong options on the bench.
And as we look at the 2024 USL Championship title winners, Switchbacks making 4 changes to their lineup that pulled out an incredible last-minute winner. And no surprise, Jonas Fjeldberg getting the start tonight. But Chris, as I look at this lineup tonight, a glaring absence for Switchbacks, and it's really their midfield engine. He was the MVP of that 2024 title match. No Juan Tejada tonight. He's out with an injury.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a big miss for them as well, but just looking at that front three, 18 goals between them. So while we've already mentioned Bennett, Fieldberg and Perez, no strangers to finding the back of the net themselves as well. So New Mexico United's back line are going to have their hands full tonight.
Edwin Carvajal is running the action here this evening. That is Carvajal, as we see our assistant referees. Got Adam Cook and Hunter Zakwija. And our fourth official tonight is Jose Landa. And Chris, these are two clubs that are no strangers to each other, as New Mexico hold the edge all time in this series. 13 wins to the black and yellow, 5 wins for Switchbacks, just 3 draws.
Yeah, and there's normally goals in these games as well. And we again mentioned Bennett again, scored 2 in the fixture earlier on this season here at the Lab as well. So he certainly enjoys turning up in New Mexico too.
New Mexico, of course, in their all black tonight. Switchbacks in their road whites. And for Switchbacks, Chris, as we look at this matchup historically, we mentioned the all-time record. You mentioned there's typically goals when these two get together, and you're totally right about that. New Mexico have scored 38 goals against Switchbacks, while the visitors from the north have scored 28. However, 4 of them came the last time these two teams met up at Widener Field, where Switchbacks, simply put, they put it on New Mexico. It was a 4-0 win. They were up 3-0 by halftime. That was in mid-May. And that was, coincidentally, Chris, right before New Mexico United started this unbeaten run. We talked about them being 8 straight unbeaten. That started May 20th. 6 wins, just 2 draws. During that time span, Chris, they've been outscoring opponents 15-3.
I don't know if you remember, Tyler, I was supposed to go to that game up in Colorado Springs. It was going to be my first chance to actually check out the new stadium downtown. I was really excited about that. Hit a little traffic on the way from Denver, and by the time I got to Springs, it was already 3-0, so I actually decided against it.
Switchbacks will be looking to do something that, frankly, Chris, they've never done before. They've never won at the Lab, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. These two teams, we mentioned how many times they've met. This is a rivalry that goes all the way back to 2019, as Gloucester tried to play a cross in, and it's deflected off of Rocha. That's going to bring up the first Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick of the night. But that's a look at the recent history between these two. Draw is very rare, as we mentioned. This is Christian Nava. He's going to deliver the first corner of the evening. Christian Nava, the hometown Albuquerque native, came up through the New Mexico United Academy. This corner doesn't beat the first man, but he's going to get another opportunity. Goes to Melto. Great fake from Melto, left-footed cross. Gloucester. And Gloucester, that ball just goes wide.
Yeah, decent second opportunity there for New Mexico. It was defended relatively well by Colorado Switchbacks, but that second chance in Gloucester, you can see it was the ball just hung in the air. You almost had a little bit too much time to think about what he was going to do, and overthought it a little bit and hit it too much into the ground.
Well, here comes Switchbacks, looking to ask some questions for the first time tonight. 3 minutes in, and immediately cut out by the black and yellow. Nava does well to win the free kick. That's Dennis Sanchez, nominated for the 2024 USL Championship Coach of the Year award for the job he did at Las Vegas Lights. His second season here in Albuquerque. Took the club further than they've ever gone before last year, Chris. He had them in the Western Conference Final, where they met an absolute buzzsaw of an FC Tulsa squad. This one comes out to Gloucester. Flicks it ahead. Melto. This is the magic man. Melto on the left foot, crosses it in, and Shuttler lays out to grab that ball. It looked like Greg Hurst might have been onto something.
Yeah, if you're Greg Hurst, you're probably a little disappointed with that. It almost looked like it was a little bit behind him. Great job by Melto there. Just little turn of pace, puts the ball in a really dangerous area. It's a little deflection there. And it was Mahoney, got a little deflection. Oh, Hurst's eyes got wide. He thought he was going to have an easy tap in. That deflection made all the difference.
Jake's able to grab that ball just at the edge of his box. And we talk about the drama that comes when these two sides get together, Chris. If we go back just to the home opener of the 2026 season for New Mexico United, Corey Bennett scored an equalizer in the 4th minute of second half stoppage time, only to see it canceled out by Ousmane Jabang's winner 2 minutes later at the death. It is Alan McCann in his first season with the club. Somebody we haven't talked about yet, it's the return of Talon Maples. Spent the last couple of seasons here in Albuquerque with New Mexico. He captained the side. It was Maples who was looking to get a touch on that. Melto is whistled for the foul. Well, while we've got a moment, let's take a look at our keys to the match. Brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Positive outcomes for all New Mexicans. For New Mexico, use that home field advantage. Black and yellow, they've taken 14 out of a possible 21 points so far this season here at the lab. Let's take a look at our injury report as well. A couple of names there for New Mexico, Chris. Jake LaCava and Justin Renix. But, you know, by and large, New Mexico, pretty healthy.
Yeah, I think that's where the turnaround in the season's really happened. We've spoke about it, you know, I mean, it seems like so long ago, the last home game, 4th of July. But we mentioned it then as well. Now New Mexico is starting to get a healthier roster. You see how strong their bench is today. It's coincided with the turnaround in terms of form.
Switchbacks will deliver, and it's the shot on goal, looking to catch Chris Shakes off guard. No problem there for the Florida native. You know, and we talk about the fine run of form that New Mexico have been on, Chris. How about Chris Shakes? He's conceded just 3 goals over his last 8 starts. He's already got 5 clean sheets during that span in all competitions. He's already equaled his clean sheet total from the entirety of last season.
Yeah, it's been amazing, and I do think obviously Keller being added into the middle of that back line as well has helped a lot as well. Again, it's just a defender who loves to defend, takes pride in the art of defending as well, and I think that's really helped obviously solidify things as well. I think New Mexico United were a little thin early on in the season with their back four, you know, with some players maybe playing out of position. You see Hamalainen now playing in his more favoured outside back there, or Howell as well, and those guys having to play a lot of time at centre-back together. So I think that's all come together to create a really solid foundation for New Mexico United to build on.
This is Kip Keller, making his 23rd league appearance for the club since joining in August of last year. Initially, it was acquired on loan from the Minnesota United organization, inked to permanent deal in the offseason. Shuttler gets rid of this. He's looking for Fjellberg, but not a whole lot gets by Kip Keller. Valentin Noel whistled for the foul that time. Noel coming off his first goal of the season in league play a couple weeks ago at Lexington. And that's also something that we need to talk about, Chris. This is a New Mexico United side, 8 games unbeaten in all comps, but they haven't played in 2.5 weeks. That match last weekend in Birmingham was eventually postponed to a later date, and so that's not exactly the time that you want a 2.5-week break to come up.
No, it's not as well, and the fact that it was cancelled, postponed, while they'd already put the effort in to get there, to travel, so it's not like they had a weekend off either. The stress of travelling, all that stuff is still there. It's just they just didn't have the output on the field, and that's not an easy place from New Mexico to get to either, down in Alabama. So it's that's going to be interesting to see where that's plugged in later on in the season too. New Mexico United being a little loose with the ball across their back line. That's the 2nd or 3rd time. There's the 4th where they're just not quite getting it right, playing off in the back, but they've managed to get away with it.
Somehow dodged a bullet that time. Bailey finds Gloucester, who's got plenty of space. He's got options in the middle. Cross goes in, and it's saved by Shuttler. How quick the tables turn. It looked for a moment as if Switchbacks might have been on to something. But New Mexico, with so much pace, able to get up the field quickly there, Chris.
I love seeing what Zico Bailey did there. That's what you always tell kids to do as well, is really commit the defender, and he took that extra touch while he was dribbling, which really forced, I think it was Maples, to step to him, then slip the ball out wide for Gloucester. I actually think Gloucester was maybe trying to get the ball in front of Greg Hurst, just got the delivery wrong, and Alto made the most of it and just redirected it and ended up being pretty comfortable in the end.
Noel looking for a through ball there to Melto. It's a windy one this evening here in the Duke City, Chris. But thankfully, the storms that were in the area made their way around the lab. It's been hot down here in Albuquerque as well. Definitely something to consider. I think we were high 90s at one point today.
Yeah, it's been a brutal week, and those storms earlier on really have cooled it down. It's actually pretty much perfect tonight, other than that little breeze right in our face right now. But
Malik Howell whistled for the foul that time as Fjellberg goes down. Jonas Fjellberg with that back post header in the second half stoppage time last week. Fjellberg, he's already got 3 goals this season. He's only played 508 minutes. There's a look at the current conditions. This is, looks like Perez standing over this one. Adrian Perez, first year with the club, spent the last couple of seasons with Louisville City. 9 goals, 9 assists at the FAM, 54 appearances. Also spent some time with San Diego Loyal. Here's Perez, the left-footed delivery, looking for goal, and it's punched over by Chris Shakes.
yeah, you could almost see, I think Shakes was anticipating maybe having to defend his own right post there and thought maybe Perez would try and sneak it in there. Perez reverses it and actually tries to go the other side. So he readjusts quickly and does the safe option, just tipped it over. Got 2 good hands to it. I don't think there was maybe as much drama as what there, but you can see he didn't want to take the risk of catching it and just tipped it over. Live to fight another day.
Perez will play this corner, goes short to Creek and gets it right back. Eventually back post, was looking for Talon Maples, but Chris Shakes showing off the hops there. It's been a fun one here through the opening 14 minutes. Thanks for joining us here on ESPN Plus. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. As 2 familiar foes square off once again. This is the 3rd meeting out of 4 this season between these 2 sides. Of course, they had some USL Cup action and 3 USL Championship meetings. Sam Williams plays this back. They've got a Williams tandem in the midfield, do Switchbacks. Speedy Williams paired up there alongside Sam Williams. Here's Bennett. He doesn't need much space, Corey Bennett. And sort of a bit of a pop shot against Charleston last weekend in a similar area. Just took 1 touch, settled an unleashed one. Didn't miss by much. This ball goes out, and it's going to be another corner kick for the visitors. Perez. Again with the left foot, and it was Maples who came in that time. Talon Maples looking to find the back of the net in a place he once called home. Not that time. What a ball, though, from Adrian Perez off that corner kick.
Yeah, really dangerous ball. I think it was Malik Howell there. It was like a sandwich, and he took a little blow to the back of his head. It was a little slow to get up. Good to see him back on his feet. Doesn't look like there's any lasting pain or anything like that. But yeah, it was a little worrying sign there.
Perez delivers again, and Chris Shakes. He looks like a wide receiver in that crowd.
It's funny. He's not the most imposing in terms of his size, but like you mentioned earlier, the hops. Like he's just instilling all kinds of confidence in his back line that he's able to command his 6-yard box and climb the ladder and beat players almost a foot taller than him, and he's able to beat them to the ball and just collect and just take the pressure off that back line.
Gloucester able to flick this ball on. Finds Melto, and Melto quickly back on his feet. Ball goes over everyone's heads. Maples for New Mexico last season, 7 goals in league play. Found himself just one behind Greg Hurst as that ball sails into the crowd. Maples was actually the club's leading scorer in all competitions last season. And he really became the go-to guy from the penalty spot, Chris, and that's where he found most of his success.
Yeah, that was probably a bit of an issue that New Mexico United had last year, and he kind of found his way into that spot. No doubt that, the effect of...
Oh, New Mexico could be onto something. Nava chests this down. Shuttler out of his goal, but eventually the offside flag is up.
I thought for a split second there that Nava had managed to break that offside line. Impossible for us to see from here how close it actually was, but it did seem like there was a bit of a delay, which made us all feel like that perhaps he was onto something. But I was just talking about Maples. Like, I'm sure the effects of him leaving has not just been on the field. He's saying a goal-scoring defender. Like, they're hard to find, but also in the changing room. Know how important he was around the locker room as well, and just being a leader in there. So they lost some big pieces, New Mexico United.
Yeah.
Dylan Ryden as well, like that. That's some big personalities, big leaders that they lost.
Fjellberg cuts it back. Jonas Fjellberg rattles the woodwork. The first big chance tonight. Fjellberg didn't miss by much. Huge challenge in the midfield. And Zico Bailey will see yellow.
You just see there Fjellberg where he cuts inside, has a little look up, he knows exactly what he's trying to do. Shakes was beaten there. There was nothing he could do except just hope when he looked over his shoulder that was not inside the post, and that was very close to being an absolute screamer.
And I'm sure that got everybody up out of their seats at the Atomic Cowboy, where Switchbacks are having a watch party this evening. It was a sensational strike. Can't get much closer than that. As Jonas Fjellberg, 3 league goals. He's got 6 in all competitions. Perez stands over this ball. Former MLS man couple of years with LAFC, then a couple of years with DC United. We've already seen what that left foot can do. Perez goes into the wall. Long throw here from Williams, flicked on, and no problem there for Shakes.
Yeah, Switchbacks definitely having the better of it right now. Just seen a stat where over 40% of the players being in this part of the field, this third of the field, and that's something that I'm sure Sanchez right now is trying to work out how New Mexico United are going to get a foothold in this game, try and gain some territory, give the back line a little bit of a breather, and start asking some questions of Maples in this Colorado Switchbacks back line.
And as you look at Talon Maples, he only won 3 of his 7 duels against Charleston, and so maybe that's something New Mexico may look to exploit. Nava able to get ahead on that one. And I'll be honest, Chris, you don't say that very often with somebody who's listed at 5'3". What a story. Christian Nava battled back from 2 ACL tears. Found the back of the net last time here at the Lab on the 4th of July against Oakland. Chris, that was his first USL Championship goal in 1,358 days. A little bit of extracurriculars going on here.
I'm not sure why Perez even did that there. Like, it was over with. It was a foul. It clearly was a foul, but then he just had words and he shoved Gloucester, and that's what's got Gloucester all hot, where anytime you raise your hands to an opponent, you're basically giving the referee a chance to make a decision here. There's just no need.
And that's the second time Perez has been involved in a dust-up within the last 60 seconds. As he was walking away from Chris Shakes, he put his hands on him, which prompted a reaction from Shakes just about a minute ago. And so Perez, we mentioned, he's a vet. He spent several years in MLS, here in the USL Championship. He's just got to cool off a little bit.
Again, I just can't understand what, like, it's in a nothing area of the field, a really nothing tackle as well, like no real flashpoint until he raises his hands. And like you said, two in a minute. The referee's being pretty lenient here that he's just talking to both of them because of that exact fact. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe they've had history in the past, who knows?
It doesn't look like they resolved a whole lot.
I mean, they're still going, so let's say to be continued.
Clear frustration there from both sides, but we play on. And just going back to the point I was making about Christian Nava before that dust up there, that last goal that he scored on July 4th, last time he scored in USL Championship play, October of 2022, and it was here against Switchbacks. He's been a new addition to the squad and somebody who's really cemented his place in this starting lineup, Chris.
Yeah, no, he really has. And like I say, you know, him and Howell have proved how versatile they can be. Hamalainen's played some outside back as well. He's been moved across the line pretty much, you know, based on what the needs are, and look pretty solid in all of them, in all of those positions. So yeah, no, it's been a great start to the season for him, settling in here in New Mexico.
15th league appearance, 20th appearance in all comps. Beautiful ball, finds the feet of Malik Howell, but it was deflected away there by Foster. Here comes Fjellberg. Great challenge from the Scotsman Greg Hurst.
Yeah, that was great defensive work by Hurst there, and that's what he does. Like, even when maybe he's not finding the back of the net, the back pressure that you get from him as a number 9 is valuable.
Chris Shakes. 5 clean sheets in 16 starts last year for New Mexico. He took over that #1 spot from Alex Tambakis. It was around this time, actually. Never relinquished the spot after that. Here's Bennett. He can let him fly from here, and that ball took a bit of a deflection. But Bennett was looking for his 12th goal of the season.
Yeah, it comes from New Mexico United in possession again. Right now, they just seem like they're too comfortable going sideways and backwards in their own defensive third. And Switchbacks are just setting traps, and New Mexico United are falling for them and giving it away in bad areas. This time it was Creek there in the middle, I believe, who picked them off, feeds the ball to Bennett, and then you saw him look up and see everyone in the New Mexico United faithful held their breath to see where that was going after the deflection.
Perez sends it in, and it's sent right back out by Hurst. Perez will get a second crack. Instead finds Fjellberg, low shot, and Shakes is there.
It's interesting, every single time Switchbacks have a corner, they have 2 people on it, and New Mexico United only send one, Nava, across to deal with it. So the short corner's on every single time, and New Mexico still haven't quite figured out how to fix that. Switchbacks have looked dangerous every single time from set pieces.
Fjellberg able to get a touch on that, just poke it away from Howell, but Mexico turn it right back over. Well, fans, you can turn to the CBS Sports Network next Saturday, August 8th, for an action-packed USL Championship Western Conference showdown. Feisty Monterey Bay FC take on this surging New Mexico United side, determined to continue climbing up the standings. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. That's next Saturday, August 8th, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Jabang able to offload that ball for Usman Jabang. We talked about it a little bit earlier. He was the difference maker the last time these two sides met here at the Lab back in late March. Jabang making his 42nd league appearance. Fjellberg doesn't get a whole lot behind that effort. This ball turned over. Could be something for Switchbacks. Perez. Zico Bailey able to get a deflection, and how about the flexibility there from Zico Bailey?
Yeah, this is trouble for New Mexico United. They just can't figure out how to get out of their own zone, basically. And Switchbacks have got to feel a little unlucky that they haven't already taken the lead. They've been by far the better team. Just looking at the stats, New Mexico United apparently had 60% of the possession. Here's another short corner. New Mexico United again sending one player out.
Fjellberg, he's wide open once again, closed down. Able to get it out to Creek. Switchbacks with another corner kick, and corners starting to really pile up now. Perez goes in. Fjellberg just wide, and Switchbacks, well, they're having a shooting session right now, Chris.
It's almost like the field's on a hill, and it's just tilted towards the New Mexico United goal right now. Just chance after chance, and again, if that's true, that they only have 42% possession right now, Switchbacks, but they are making the most of it. They are asking all the questions, creating all the chances. New Mexico United have really got to get a grip here, or they're going to be behind before too long, and it could be in a bit of trouble. So, but I guess that is potentially a positive for New Mexico United. They really haven't played very well so far, and they're not behind yet. They're still hanging on in there, but Switchbacks are looking very lively, and again, they can think themselves pretty unlucky to not be ahead right now.
Here's Gloucester. Well, finds Melto, and ball taken off of his feet, but foul called on Melto.
Yeah, I think he just angled the leg there, but it was just interesting seeing there when Noel got on the ball, he got his head up, and the movement ahead of him, there was Melto making the move, and that was it. That was the only option. It wasn't really. Hurst was occupying the two centre-backs in the middle of the field, but pretty static. Nava, no interest on the other side of the field as well. There's just not a whole lot ahead of the ball for New Mexico United, and I think that's maybe why they're struggling to get out. It's just those passing lanes to play forwards aren't there, and that's partly maybe because of the movement, partly because Switchbacks are just so compact and so well drilled defensively. They're doing a great job, and coming into this defensively, this is not what the Switchbacks are known for. They've got one of the worst defensive record. It's like the 12th worst defensive record in the entire USL Championship. They are not a solid defensive team. New Mexico United, on the other hand, second best, tied for second best. We've been talking about Tampa Bay all year. New Mexico are tied with Tampa Bay right now in terms of goals conceded, which is absolutely crazy. And based on how many good chances Switchbacks have had tonight, they've looked a little leaky.
New Mexico will be looking to perhaps just enjoy a spell of possession, right? Settle down a little bit. As here they go again. Gloucester. Beautiful backheel flick. Here's Melto now. Finds Noel. Valentin Noel! And it just goes wide from the Frenchman. We had the perfect angle at that, Chris, from the view from back here, and it looked like he might have been able to sneak that in the post.
Yeah, it was coming back, but he just started it just too far outside the post. But like I say, we had the perfect angle, and Schuttler was worried as well. The one thing I was going to say about New Mexico United, the one shining light so far for them tonight has been this left-hand side. Every time Gloucester has got up the field and joined in and created a 2v1 with Melto, something positive has happened. It hasn't happened often enough, probably, for the coaching staff to like, but really need to get that right side opened up as well with Nava, but this left-hand side really has been a shining light for New Mexico so far.
Comes all the way back to Kip Keller. Keller, in his last time out, assisted Joseph Melto's 85th minute goal down in El Paso. Keller did not take the field against Lexington just a few days after that. You know, it's been so long that we haven't really mentioned that Lexington result, Chris, but to go in the midweek to Lexington and put up a result like that, 4-1, where, frankly, 3 of those 4 goals all could have been nominees for goal of the week. It was a massive performance for New Mexico, and, you know, we talked a little bit about the 2.5 weeks that they had off. Perhaps a little bit of that rust showing tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, didn't think about that. We'll just have a little you're teaching me live on air here, Tyler. I hadn't thought that through at all. You're right. But yeah, no, it could be, the rhythm, the momentum, maybe lost a little bit, because that was an unbelievable result. You're right. Like, what, the goals that were scored, and going against Lexington, who were in a rich vein of form themselves up until that point as well.
Of course, former New Mexico United assistant coach Mac Hemme is the head coach out there at Lexington, and so I'm just sure that was a tough one. What a touch there from Zico Bailey, and Gloucester off to the races now. He's got Nava in support. Instead, he'll pull it back. Goes back to Melto, the former Dayton Flyer. Bad ball there leads to a Switchbacks counter. Fjellberg, you can't give him space like that. Perez, and well read there by Usman Jabang.
What a great way to make up for that mistake earlier on. Sprints 80 yards, wins the ball back, starts the counter-attack.
Speedy Williams. This is Williams' second stint with the club. 23-24 in Colorado Springs. Went to Lexington last year. Made his way back. "37 minutes gone by here." Thanks for joining us this evening. No goals yet, but doesn't mean we've been short of action. Switchbacks have been asking the lion's share of the questions so far. It's New Mexico looking to just wake up a little bit. Expecting around 10,000 here this evening at the lab. As you mentioned, it's cooled off considerably, Chris. I'm sure that's something that the players like. Here's Keller looking to switch the play. Great touch there. Gloucester. This is what New Mexico needed after being in their own third for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I think the Switchbacks have been really disciplined. There it is, it just broke it down again. You know, as soon as they get into that kind of area there, and Switchbacks been so disciplined, so compact. Gaps really hard to find for New Mexico to play through.
Jabang comes away with the interception. He's fouled. Creek will see yellow, but in all fairness, that was an excellent foul there from Brennan Creek because Usman Jabang was about to let one rip.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see just got to it. It was just a despairing lunge there by Creek, but definitely knew. And I think Japan was a little frustrated that the referee had blown there because he was still on for the shot. He managed to do well to bounce up, but right thing there with the yellow card. But again, it comes from that enjoying a little bit of the ball, enjoying a little bit of territory from New Mexico United. So maybe the Switchbacks getting a little bit desperate, and finally New Mexico able to move them around a little bit. Because, like I said earlier, it's been really hard to find any kind of enjoy any kind of time and any kind of possession in this zone.
Here's a look at the live table down in the bottom left corner. Orange County well ahead. Behind him, San Antonio, but then you see Switchbacks, New Mexico, Lexington, all within 3 points. This is it's a big result tonight. Big 3 points hanging in the balance.
And New Mexico sitting with at least 2 games in hand. Some are 3 on some people. Like on Orange County, 3 games in hand on Orange County. So that's a 9-point swing. Potentially, anyway. You know, I mean, everyone always says you'd rather have points on the board, and Orange County certainly have those.
And it's Greg Hurst. It's right at Colin Shuttler. That yellow card that was issued to Creek moments ago, his 4th of the season. And we're getting to the point of the year, Chris, where the yellow cards start adding up. Players may be in danger of missing a match, maybe 2 due to suspension, and so it's just something you want to keep an eye on as this playoff race really starts to take shape, and each match is so valuable. Big result there for Charleston Battery. 5 past the New Boys in Brooklyn as Hamalainen is fouled. Free kick coming up here, and that's on Creek, and Usman Jabang is lobbying for a second yellow card.
That's not very well advised there, going into a tackle like that so soon after picking up the yellow card as well. And again, that's pretty late. I'd say if he hadn't got a yellow card a moment earlier, that is pretty close to it as well. So I think it's quite a bit of leniency there by the referee, and I'm sure that's what Jabang's saying as well.
Well, we get restarted here, and we want to let you know, fans, that you can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN. That is the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Head on over to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Hey, and if you live in the state of New Mexico, you can watch New Mexico United matches in Spanish. Head on over to Estrella TV 7.2. Listen to Manny Esquivel. He's a Emmy-winning sports broadcaster. He's a few rooms down from us. He and his partner, they're a ton of fun to listen to. He and Daniel Vasquez tonight. Going back with New Mexico.
It does seem like New Mexico United have found that foothold in the game. They had to weather a heck of a storm there from Switchbacks. Switchbacks really had some really grade A chances to take the lead, and will be disappointed that they didn't manage to. But now New Mexico United have weathered that storm, and at least territory-wise, maybe not chances, but territory-wise, they've managed to eke their way up the field a little bit and start at least asking some quiet questions of the Switchbacks back line right now.
Here comes Foster, and the offside flag is up. That was Sam Williams pushing forward from his usual midfield role there. Back to Maples. Shuttler just gets it off his feet. Foster out for a run. Just has that ball poked away. And now Switchbacks, they're lean at the back. Foster pushed so high up. He's typically a left back, and you see Nava, he's got a ton of space out there.
See, since that little incident between Perez and Gloucester as well, Fjellberg and Perez have actually switched sides, and I'm not sure if that's tactical. You know, obviously a lot of these attacking players, same as Nava and Melto, sorry, can switch and interchange as well, or whether that was a decision from the coaching staff just to kind of take the spice out of that, because he was walking a tightrope for a little while then. It does seem to have done that as well.
Keller almost looked like he ran into a cul-de-sac and eventually turns it over. Yeah, you're totally right, Chris. I think Perez, I think he was lucky to get away without a yellow card for both of those incidents that took place. Howell goes into that challenge, and Perez on the receiving end of it. Howell sees yellow.
It's very similar to some of the other tackles we saw earlier on as well. I think really consistent there. And the one exception would be the second one by Creek, but it was a pretty bad tackle, pretty late there by Malik Howell. Can have no arguments with picking up a yellow card.
And just judging by Malik Howell's reaction, he knew exactly what he did. So we hit first half stoppage time. Well, it was going to be 1 minute. We'll have perhaps 1-2 more added on just due to this brief stoppage. But stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. Looks like we're finally ready here. Creek goes all the way back. Looking for Fjellberg, and Chris Shakes out to grab it. That is going to be the final action of the first half. We reach the halftime mark, Chris, and we are scoreless between New Mexico United and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Your take on the first 45?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting middle period for the Switchbacks, where they had a lot of territory, a lot of possession, a lot of chances, but hit the woodwork.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's best sportsbook is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
This is home, where we race the Tour of the Gila, the country's hardest stage race. 5 days, 336 miles, 15 nations competing. If you can ride here, you can ride anywhere. We call that Gila Proven.
Welcome back here to the lab. We are scoreless at the break between New Mexico United and Switchbacks FC. Why don't we just go ahead and jump right into some of our halftime that we've got coming your way. Let's
unreal. A jaw-dropping leveler. Stoppage time drop. Wonderful finish in the USL.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Base, chance at goal. It's in. Monterey Bay with another strong start.
Christian Nava, the Albuquerque native, puts New Mexico on top.
Prinks tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks tires will be there for the long haul.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
This week on USL All Access, Atletico Dallas has not played a game yet, but Chicharito, a lot about Chicharito.
Chicharito? Yeah, he's coming to USL play. Every entity is going to want to listen to this one. Sporting director Brian Corcoran joins us from Atletico Dallas. He talks the top to the bottom in the best of ways for what is one of the coolest up-and-coming organizations as a USL entity.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. Time for the headlines for the week. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. Olex Anderson of the Las Vegas Lights made club history last week by scoring a goal at the 42nd mark of the match against Detroit City. That's a Vegas record and the fastest goal in the USL Championship this season. By the way, that 1-0 victory makes it 3 consecutive road wins for the Lights. Now, despite that highlight, it was a tough week to score goals. The goalkeepers in the championship posted 10 shutouts in 13 league matches. Ethan Bondre of Loudoun United led the way with 9 saves against Indy 11. Hartford Athletics' Anthony Siaha made 6 saves in a shutout. Next season, Atletico Dallas will make its debut in the championship, and this week, the club made some immediate noise announcing the signing of the great Chicharito. Yes, Javier Hernandez, the longtime star of Mexico, Manchester United, Bayer Leverkusen, and many more, will return to the pitch as Atletico Dallas's first ever player signing. A pair of upcoming national spotlight games, Richmond Kickers and New York Cosmos in League One next Wednesday. Next Saturday, it's Monterey Bay and New Mexico United. Both matches are on CBS Sports Network. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
Welcome back here to the lab in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. It is halftime between New Mexico United and Switchbacks FC, and we are scoreless at the break. Let's take a look at how we got to this point. We've got your first half highlights coming.
Land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's best sportsbook is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
In the land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
Now mountain, dude?
The mountain is calling.
Give me a mountain, lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dream. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing mountain. Yeah, give me the sunshine, give me a dream.
We are back here at the lab. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. Both teams making their way out of the tunnels and onto the pitch. Second 45 coming up here in just a moment. So, Chris, I'm going to ask you to put your coach hat on here. What changes do New Mexico need to make to make a little bit of headway in this second half?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to say sitting up a height here and, kind of in amongst it in terms of emotions and stuff. So I guess I'll caveat it with that. But, I mean, just tempo. Yeah, New Mexico United in possession, just a little too slow, a little too lethargic maybe, and a little too obvious, I guess, is probably the other thing as well, So they play with a little more tempo, a little bit more one-touch passing, try and break lines, play with a little more pace, play with a little more freedom. And that's because they did not ask enough questions of Switchbacks in that first half.
And on the flip side, I'm glad you mentioned Switchbacks because they asked a ton of questions. Fjeldberg by himself, 5 shots during that first half. It seemed like every single corner kick, they would take it short. Perez would get it right back, feed it over to Fjeldberg for a shot attempt. What do they have to do to break through?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the hardest thing to do, right? Is put the ball in the back of the net, especially when you've got someone like Shakes who's in the form of his career right now as well. Anything that is getting through, he's dealing with. But yeah, I mean, they have asked a lot of questions. They've been really efficient with how much or how little they've had of the ball. It's not been a complete, they haven't touched the ball and sitting with 20% possession or anything like that, but it was certainly less possession than New Mexico United. But it's more the areas where they have had possession. They've had the ball in better areas more often than New Mexico United, so that's probably the difference in making those count. Where they are going to have a spell in the second half where they really do have their foot on the throat of New Mexico United. An attacking team like this, you can expect that. They are going to have that period. They need to make one of those chances count.
One change for Switchbacks at the break, and it's Frank DeRoma on to replace Brennan Creek, who was on a yellow. Honestly, you could have made a case that he should have seen a second. He didn't, but he is taken off by Alan McCann. And so Frank DeRoma, the 25-year-old out of Sierra Leone, spent last season with El Paso. Made 29 starts, 5 goal contributions. Also spent some time with Las Vegas Lights and Tacoma Defiance. DeRoma, he's somebody that no stranger to playing against the black and yellow.
It's funny seeing him matched up. I shouldn't say funny. It's not funny, but it's standing. He immediately stood next to Jabang, and in terms of size, they could not be more chalk and cheese if they tried.
Well, Frank DeRoma, he's listed at 5'4". We mentioned earlier Nava listed at 5'3". Be curious to put those guys back to back. So this one looking for Melto, and the offside flag was up anyway. Joseph Melto out of Liberia made his debut for the Liberian national team, Chris, in a friendly against Egypt in 2021. He was 16 years old. Just tells you what sort of a talent he's been from such a young age. He spent last season with the Toronto FC organization, made a couple of appearances for their 2 team in MLS Next Pro. Flag stays down here on Fjeldberg. Tried to get a cross in, and it's blocked by Gloucester. Gloucester, it's a milestone tonight. 75th USL Championship appearance for the black and yellow. It's his 85th appearance in all competitions. Joined the club in 2024. Well, and Perez finds himself in a similar scenario. We saw a number of corner kicks for Switchbacks in that first half. And again, you pointed it out. Christian Nava, the lone defender over there, against two Switchbacks. Perez will send it in, can't get it by Greg Hurst. Perez does well to win another corner. Looks like he's going to swap out here. It's going to be Sam Williams instead. Sam Williams spent last season with Chicago Fire. 7 appearances for the MLS side. Also had 17 appearances for their next pro side. Sam Williams just 21 years old.
It's interesting there, both Williams and Perez both had issues. Perez, disappointing delivery, hit the first man. Williams stepped up and couldn't keep his foot and then hit the first man as well.
Noel turns this ball over. Not exactly the start to the second half you want if you're Dennis Sanchez.
I'd say probably either, coach. To be honest, it's not been one for the purists. Let's say.
Here's Melto. Couldn't tell if he was looking across that, maybe pick out that back corner. It's in between both and out for a goal kick. Colin Shuttler. It's been the number 1 with Christian Herrera out injured. Shuttler, it's his first season in the Springs. Spent the previous 4 years with Orange County. Shuttler, offside flag goes up on Corey Bennett. Shuttler was in goal last November when Dayon Harris scored an absolute thunderous strike at the death to send New Mexico on to the Western Conference Final. Nava able to flick it on. Here's Howell. Malik Howell opens up the scoring. And Malik Howell opens up his account for New Mexico United. It's his first goal in black and yellow.
We mentioned in the first half that a lot of the good stuff for New Mexico United has been down their left-hand side. This right-hand side really needed an injection of something. Malik Howell stepped forward. Nava almost hesitated when the ball was bouncing, but that made the Switchbacks defender hesitate as well. Ball finds Malik Howell, great first touch. So positive with his first touch. There, defender can't possibly commit because it would be a foul and a PK. And then his second touch, no mistake at all. Through the legs, through the wickets, and in the back of the net.
That is Malik Howell's first goal as a professional. And it comes in his 71st appearance in all competitions. And look what it means to him. A former University of New Mexico Lobo scoring his first professional goal here tonight. Massive. And that could be exactly what New Mexico needed, Chris.
I think that's exactly what the game needed. The game needed a little bit of quality, and I don't think the build-up was exactly how it was going to be drawn up. But the finish, for his first ever goal, what a finish. So calm, composure, But again, I think that's exactly what the game needed. A little bit of quality, spark the game into life, maybe give New Mexico United a little bit of strut in their step as well. And now Switchbacks really have to go for it to try and get back into the game.
Foul called there against Christian Nava. He's not happy about it. That goal from Malik Howell, brought to you by Vara Winery and Distillery. Goal scorer, Malik Howell. Speedy Williams couldn't control that ball, and the offside flag is up on Melto. Just a little too early there.
Yeah, you could see that from here before the assistant referee even put his flag up. I signaled to you that I thought was going to be off there. You could see just went a couple of steps too early, a little over eager to get in behind there. Really no need as well. There was a ton of space to run into.
Here's Mahoney facing some pressure, and Greg Hurst called for the foul. Not happy with the center official. Matt Mahoney, the captain of this Switchback side. He's been with the club since 2021. Bennett eventually dispossessed. Great turn there from Usman Jabang, New Mexico. Well, initially it looked like they were off to the races, but Jabang slows it down and instead gives the ball away. This could be trouble. Great touch from Fjellberg. Here's Bennett now. Back to Fjellberg. And it's deflected. It goes right off of Kip Keller, who looked to be unsuspecting in that situation.
Yeah, that was another bad turnover by New Mexico United. And you saw Zico Bailey didn't dare make a tackle, knowing he's on that yellow card from the first half. And Kip Keller, just the brick wall, just took one for the team there. And then immediately jumped up and signaled to the bench that he needed no attention whatsoever, and he was fine and ready to defend the corner.
Some late drama there between Lexington and Monterey Bay. Lexington scored in the 82nd minute to go ahead in that one. How about that? A 9-goal shootout between Rowdies and Loose City as this ball headed away, goes back in, and eventually, no problem there for Shakes. Underway out at the Champ in Orange County. Minutes gone by in that one. It was Usman Silla opening the scoring against El Paso. Hagart with the assist. Las Vegas with an early goal on Phoenix. Antonoglu finding the back of the net just 2 minutes in. A lot of action going on around the USL Championship. And of course, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. A battle of the two of the hottest teams in the Western Conference here tonight, Chris. And look, there hasn't been a whole lot to separate these two sides tonight.
Yeah, that's also the part of it, right? You know, maybe in the first half we were looking for excuses as to why it wasn't filled with quality, you know, like the week off in New Mexico, etc., etc. Melto caught offside again. He's just looking down the line, that can't happen. But that could be the other reason why it's been not exactly an unbelievable spectacle so far, is both teams are just decent teams and they just kind of cancel each other out.
We also want to mention this is the third time this season that these two are squaring off, and there's still another meeting on the schedule the middle of next month. That one will be up at Widener Field. Maples chases this one down, the former New Mexico man. Maples 7 goals as a defender last season for New Mexico in league play. Here's DeRoma. Perez. Corner kick coming up here for the Switchbacks. It sounds like we've got a couple of subs coming up, and they're going to make them before this corner is taken. We've got Yosuke Hanya. We're also going to see Saddam Masareka both on as the night is over for Jonas Fjellberg, who's really the catalyst in that first half for Switchbacks. Here's Williams waiting to deliver. Williams goes in with the left, and it falls to Speedy Williams. And it's headed away. The offside flag eventually goes up on DeRoma, but Speedy Williams, he was asking for a handball on that deflection from Gloucester. Not going to get it. Yosuke Hanya on for the Switchbacks just moments ago. He's somebody that really likes playing against New Mexico, Chris. He's scored against the black and yellow in 2 of the past 3 meetings. Nice turn there from the veteran Speedy Williams. DeRoma now. This is Masareka. Cross goes in. Into Sam Williams. Rocha darts forward. An hour into the books here in Albuquerque. And it's Malik Howell's first goal as a professional that separates these sides. Howell with a great save.
See that chance that just felt to Williams just a moment ago. Zico Bailey went steaming in, even though he's on a yellow card, and did just enough to put him off where he couldn't get quite a clean strike on it. He knew, or he felt he was going to get lit up in a tackle basically, and obviously Zico Bailey pulled out at the last second, but did just enough to put him off.
It's going to take more of that from New Mexico here over this final half hour to see this result out. Switchbacks, they were looking to play quickly. Official not quite having it. Well, fans, we want to let you know that Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. You can visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. There's Jabang. He's just looking to scoop it forward for Christian Nava. Naples tracks this ball down. Hanya has his pocket picked by Gloucester. New Mexico searching for a second. Melto just mishits that ball.
Yeah, I just don't think it's been his night so far tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if that's maybe a change that we're seeing. See some subs getting ready. Everything he's touched so far this season has turned to gold, really, in his early career. But again, it's just one of those nights where it just hasn't quite clicked for him.
Christian Nava whistled for the foul that time, and yeah, I think you might be right, Chris. We look over to the sideline. It's Malik Howell. He's battling here against Masareka. It looks like Niall Reed-Stephen is due to come on here. And Malik Howell, this is not good.
Yeah, looks like he's holding his hamstring there. That's not a good sign.
Holding his hamstring and immediately waving for the bench. When you bring in the fresh legs of Saddam Masareka, the 21-year-old Ugandan, just takes Malik Howell for a run there. And yeah, look at Howell. He's having a tough time even just sitting up there. Hopefully it's just a cramp. It's Malik Howell having a word there with Usman Jabang. And we mentioned it. It was his first career professional goal. He scored just 51 minutes in tonight. It was 13 minutes ago. That is the difference maker so far. Well, Chris, 65 minutes gone by. What do you make of the first 20 minutes of this second half?
It's actually been really similar to the first half. It's been a game of very few chances. There's that one moment of real quality that's separating the sides right now. The chances for switchbacks that we saw in the first half have really dried up, and I think that's why the switchback staff have gone to the bench and gone pretty deep in their bench already, trying to get something to click to get them back in this game. But it looks like, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of changes here, both for New Mexico, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see another one for switchbacks coming up here soon as well, if they don't find a way back into this game relatively quickly. But Malik Howell is not moving very well at all right now, so that might have been a hamstring, which that could be troublesome. That could be a few weeks, unfortunately, for him. Wow, what an emotional roller coaster. Score your first goal and then end up having to come off.
So we will see 3 changes here for New Mexico. On for the black and yellow, you've got Cam Wilkerson, Niall Reed-Stephen, and Luther Archimed. They're on to replace Malik Howell, Greg Hurst, and Christian Nava. So Melto stays on for Dennis Sanchez.
What do I know?
Howell just receiving some treatment there. It's the head athletic trainer, Q Higgins, his first season with the club. Well, back to the action here off this corner kick. Foster plays it out. Locha, he was on the score sheet the last time these two teams met. Well, we knew it was going to be a packed house here tonight, and the black and yellow faithful deliver as always. 10,264 on hand. Attendance presented by New Mexico Mutual. Things getting dicey there in front of Shakes. This one falls to Speedy Williams. Hanya danced his way out of his own shoes that time. Zico Bailey, and eventually dispossessed by Masareka.
Well, we mentioned earlier on about how New Mexico United, obviously unfortunate, it looks like Malik Howell's picked up a pretty serious knock here tonight, but it started getting some players back from injury. Being able to bring someone like Reed Stephen off the bench, lead chance creator for the team, and against tired legs, Switchbacks will not want to see that guy go, running full tilt at them at the end of this game.
And Niall Reed Stephen, he's somebody who picked up an injury back in mid-June. I've only seen him play a few minutes since then, and so tonight it's really his first, significant time on the pitch since that injury. But he's somebody, Chris, who's going to have to battle his way back into this starting 11. As you look around, maybe not has been his night so far here through 70 minutes, but Joseph Melto has been on fire, right? And Christian Nava, we know the heart and engine that he plays with, and so it's going to be an uphill battle here for Reed Stephen.
Yeah, but those three players, and Melto, I mentioned earlier on, it hasn't been his night tonight, but that shows exactly what he's capable of. The fact that he's been so quiet tonight, and Dennis Sanchez and the coaching staff feel like he should stay on the field because it only takes one moment of magic from him, and he has that in his locker. He doesn't need to play well for 90 minutes. He just needs 30 seconds to turn a game on its head.
And a guy that we haven't talked about tonight, Chris, he's not even in the match day squad, is Deon Harris. And so you talk about some of the options that New Mexico has on the flanks. This one falls back, and what a save there from Chris Shakes. Hanya looks to be shaken up.
I tell you what, Switchbacks went at Wilkerson, who's just stepped onto the field at right back. Not maybe he's in a natural position, but listed as a midfielder anyway, and breezed past him. You can see Wilkerson just kind of left in his dust, clutching it air, hoping for the best. That was a coming together inside the 18-yard box there. It was a little unfortunate, and it looks like he's come off worse there. That's Hanya down on the ground, is it? But what a save by Shakes, though, as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, the form that Chris Shakes is currently in. It's going to take something just sensational to get by him tonight. And Fjellberg almost pulled it off in that first half. He hit a wicked shot from outside of the box that rattled the woodwork.
Honestly, I was a little surprised that Fjellberg was taken off so early in the game. He's way within New Mexico United's right side in that first half, and I'm sure New Mexico United almost had a little sigh of relief of glad to see the back of him for tonight.
Hanya, who was holding his shoulder, wondering if it was the way that he landed.
It was very awkward for sure. It was a really awkward fall. I think it was with Gloucester. He and Gloucester were both jostling for the ball there as it came across, and both going full pelts. And definitely the way he landed, it seemed like it was maybe a little awkward.
I want to talk about a couple of the other subs that came on for New Mexico just moments ago. By the way, those subs brought to you by Chiba Hut, toasted subs and sandwiches. Luther Arshamed, somebody that joined the squad late last season. Doesn't score a ton of goals, but I don't really think that's the role that they brought him in for.
He's a big frame, he can hold the ball up, and he loves running the channels as well, so on tired legs, he can really stretch the game for New Mexico.
So obviously a key threat when it comes to aerial duels. Jabang fouled. We play on. Wilkerson able to get on the end of this one and somehow kept in play there by Foster.
Players are really struggling with their footing in this part of the field here as well. It's you can see they're being really tentative with when they're cutting and trying to change direction. But Foster, two questions: how did he not handball it, and how did he the flexibility to be able to keep that ball play and connect the pass while he was flat on his back? Unbelievable.
It's Isaiah Foster. Foster spent some time in the FC Cincinnati system. He had one appearance for the MLS squad. Here's Reed Steven. Reed Steven, cross goes in, and he was looking for Melto.
I think it was a handball there. It was Chris Gossett just had a little cheeky wave at the ball around the corner there. I spotted it. I know you're giving the eyes like you don't agree with it, but I mean, if I can see it from here.
Didn't see the handball. It might have looked like there was a bit of a ticky-tack foul, but it's still a 1-0 lead here for New Mexico as Rocha eventually dispossessed by Zico Bailey. Bailey on a yellow card from the first half. Just 19 minutes in, Zico Bailey went into the book.
And that was a full-blooded tackle as well that he just went in for there. He really meant that one and had to get it timed absolutely perfectly, not just because he's on a yellow card, but because it was in the 18-yard box.
Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all of your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Here's Valentin Noel. Melto finds Jabang.
I'm going to say almost New Mexico United look a little fresher now. Maybe that 2-week break, it might have affected them negatively in the first half in terms of getting their momentum and mojo back. But right now they're finishing the game looking much the fresher.
And it's around that time that we typically see, it's a unique advantage that New Mexico have here at the Lab, and it's one that Switchbacks enjoy as well, but it's one of the altitude, right? And obviously Switchbacks coming from Colorado Springs, that's not necessarily going to be the case tonight for New Mexico. Gloucester just a step too early there on his run.
It was really well disciplined. You could see the line that the Switchbacks back four were holding as well, and they were really disciplined in holding it. And as soon as the ball was played, 3 of the 4 looked over their shoulder at the AR, making sure that he saw it as well.
Masureka, immense talent. Drafted 34th overall in the 2026 MLS Super Draft by Sporting Kansas City. Played his college soccer at Maryland. 20 goal contributions. He had 13 goals, 7 assists. He's all Big Ten player. Masureka called for the foul that time. It was Archimed who looked to have taken the brunt of that.
Archimed feels like maybe he was a little follow-through after the tackle. Looks like that's what he's implying there, because he was the one who initiated the tackle, and I think the Switchbacks thought that maybe it was going to be a foul for them, but yeah, it's gone the other way. So there's certainly something there that we missed. Wouldn't be the first time, Tyler.
Wouldn't even be the second time, Chris. This one goes all the way back to Shuttler. Interesting bit about Luther Archimed. He's been doing a front office internship throughout the course of the summer. So once he's done with training, he'll go into the front office and work for a few hours. It's one of the cool things I think about this league, as players start to, maybe look at life after football, some of the opportunities that they're presented. We've got a couple more changes coming up here for Switchbacks. See Stevie Echevarria on to replace, I believe it was Speedy Williams. We're also going to see Garvin Matusla. He's on to replace Sam Williams. Garvin Matusla, well, he's had a busy summer, Chris. It's, ball headed away. Let's read Steven. Get to that note on Matusla in just a moment. Eventually, Noel dispossessed. Matusla golfs it out of there. Oh, Chris, while many of us were watching the 2026 FIFA World Cup from our couches or from the local watering hole, Garvin Matusla was there. He was part of the Haiti squad that qualified for the World Cup. Didn't make an appearance during their 3 group stage games. Sat on the bench for all 3 of them. The 1-0 loss to Scotland, the 3-0 loss to Brazil, and of course the 4-2 loss to Morocco in group stages. But how incredible is it to see our players from the USL Championship on the world stage?
Oh, it really is. And there was some amazing storylines that came out of the World Cup, right? Oh, like Cape Verde, even Scotland. I'll give them a mention, begrudgingly. At least the fans, anyway. The team, not so much. Oof. But yeah, no, it is. It's really great, and those smaller countries like Haiti, they are. It's the fact that they got a chance, and they genuinely thought that they had a chance of making it out of group as well. Like they were disappointed that they lost that game against Scotland, but they were still in it. And I'm going to mention Wilson Isidore, who plays for Sunderland, my team, and he scored in it. If it wasn't nominated for one of the goals of the tournament, then there was some pretty darn good goals. I know that, but scored an unbelievable goal for the Haitians. So it was fun to see some countries that we don't normally see, and fun for players that maybe wouldn't normally get that opportunity. And I think it was probably the right amount of teams.
Yeah, and as we talk about the Haitian national team, would be remiss if we didn't mention Duke Lacroix, who's on the bench tonight for Switchbacks. He was also part of that Haitian squad who were at the World Cup. And we're going to see a yellow shown to Kip Keller. I think just a little bit of time wasting there. 81 minutes, Keller goes into the book. Meeting of the minds there between Dennis Sanchez and his coaching staff. Keller, he's the 3rd New Mexico player to go into the officials' book here this evening. He joins Zico Bailey and Malik Howell.
A pretty big reshuffle there with the last round of subs, with Rocha moving from right back into the midfield, more familiar midfield. Mahoney to right back. Just mentioned Metusala. He's in at centre back now, so a big shuffle around for the Switchbacks there.
Switchbacks looking for something here late. It's cleared away by Wilkerson. Third minute. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Whether you're watching on ESPN Plus around the state of New Mexico on New Mexico 50, or if you're joining us all the way up there in Colorado Springs at the Atomic Cowboy. It's been a beautiful evening here at the lab. And a battle. It's this one. Dangerous from Switchbacks, and it just goes over the goal of Chris Shakes. It was Masareka who made that run.
I think it was Cam Wilkinson who just got the all-important touch that put it over the crossbar as well. Shakes looked like he was beaten.
So Switchbacks hustle over here for this corner kick. Time ticking down, every second valuable. There's Rocha. 9 starts so far this season, has a couple of assists. 2024 title winner with the Switchbacks. Rocha delivers. Oh, and what a header. That was dangerous.
Was that Mahoney, I think, who rose the highest there and flashed the ball just wide.
Mahoney, 6th year with the club. Spent some time at Sacramento prior to this. You know, as we talk about that 2024 title-winning season for Switchbacks, Matt Mahoney, perhaps the most important part of it, Chris. He played every single minute that season for Switchbacks. This could be trouble. The shot, and it's blazed into the crowd. That was a massive opportunity, and Masareka couldn't keep it down.
Wow, that was a huge let-off and for New Mexico United, and did so well, just cut inside, and it was on his left foot, and he had all the time to just wait for the ball to drop as well, and somehow managed to blaze it. I think it cleared the pavilion over there. That touch inside, even had time to wait. No one in a black and yellow shirt anywhere near to defend him. He just blazed it over the bar.
Got a couple more subs coming in here for New Mexico. There you see them. Tyler Blackett and Justin Renix coming on here momentarily. Blackett just providing a little bit more defensive support. So he's on to replace Chris Gloucester. So I imagine that means Hamalainen likely shifts out. And, Melto, his night is done. He's replaced by Justin Renix. Good to see Renix back for New Mexico. It's the first time he's been on the field in 4 weeks. Missed some time due to an injury. Hasn't played since July 4th.
and he's another high-energy forward. Will press and press and press, and certainly won't let Switchbacks just serve balls at New Mexico United. So that's maybe what the thinking is rather than just throwing on a bunch of defenders and trying to pack it in. It looks like New Mexico basically gone with 2 forwards here and just said, all right, we're going to deny service.
It looks like a quick update on one of those substitutions. Gloucester actually has stayed on, and instead they've substituted out Valentin Noel. Board definitely had a 3 on it, though. '88th minute. Kip Keller called for the foul. He's got to be careful. He's already on a yellow. Tyler Blackett, the former Manchester United man, on to see this game out for Dennis Sanchez. Blackett made the start last time out against Lexington, and he was good.
Certainly got the pedigree and the experience. Getting called for a foul early on there. It was just so strong. Such a big body back there to be able to bring on for New Mexico United.
Zico Bailey getting involved there. And speaking of Zico Bailey and Tyler Blackett, Chris, they were actually teammates at FC Cincinnati during the 2022 season. He actually featured in the same match, March 12th, 2022. It's a 2-1 win against Orlando City that day. This ball goes in. As we approach second half stoppage time. DeRoma was looking near post. Gobbled up there by Chris Shakes. He preserves the clean sheet. Comes Reed Stephen hunting down Matusla there. Matusla just scoops it away. That's not what he had in mind. Concedes the corner kick.
And this is exactly what New Mexico United want, the ball down in this area of the field. What do you think? Is this going to be delivered into the box or kept down in this corner?
6 minutes added on here at the end of the second half. Second half stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. Reed Stevens stands over it. It's a Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico hard seltzer. Here's Reed Stephen. Matusla sees it out for another corner. This is probably what you want here if you're New Mexico. You can take your time. Bleed some time off the clock. Stephen delivers. Punched out by Shuttler. Wilkerson couldn't get enough of that ball. It's a foot race now. Masareka eventually just ran out of real estate. Something's going on down there. They're tripping left and right, Chris.
I'm going to let you describe the last 30 seconds. That was I tell you what, Chris Gloucester, the defensive work he just put in there to stop the breakaway, he didn't bite, managed to win the ball, then all hell broke loose. It looked like Reed Stephen was tackled by the ball, and yeah, that was a crazy put. It's all hands to the pump right now. I believe the Switchbacks are about to start throwing the kitchen sink.
Less than 4 minutes of stoppage time remain. A minimum of 6 minutes added on. Here's Matusala. Out of the reach there of Foster, but it'll be a corner kick coming up. Delivery going near post, and it's headed away. That was Luther Archimed made that contact.
Is this the 14th corner, I think, the Switchbacks?
So bouncing around, and eventually Gloucester able to clear his lines.
Big shout for handball in amongst all that as well.
Eventually, it's going to be a free kick here for New Mexico. 3.5 minutes gone by here. Second half stoppage time. New Mexico looking to hold on for a massive 3 points. Renix whistled for the foul there on Talon Maples. Shuttler tells everybody to get lost. Well done there by Chris Shakes. 90 seconds left here.
You could almost hear the uncertainty there, though. You could hear the early shout from Shakes, and then there was a slight hesitation, and you could see Keller looked over his shoulder, the knowing look of, you're coming, right? So there was a little bit of uncertainty there, a little bit of nerves potentially at the back with New Mexico United so close now.
Final chances for Switchbacks coming up here. 5 of the 6 minutes gone by here in second half stoppage. Here's Masareka. Great block there by Reed Stephen. Renix came in with some force play on, says the official. Looking back post, and it's headed away. Hamalainen that time. Less than 30 seconds left of the minimum of 6 added minutes. That touch could have just saved it for New Mexico. Zico Bailey able to poke it away. Final seconds. Last opportunity for the Switchbacks. Rocha delivers, cleared away. Bailey connects with Renix. Connects with Jabang. No foul, says the official. And that is the full-time whistle at the lab. New Mexico victorious over Switchbacks FC. And the visitors remain winless at the Lab all time. And it's Malik Howell with his first career professional goal. He's your play of the match, brought to you by Vara Winery and Distillery. Malik Howell, also your man of the match, brought to you by Pepsi. And your defensive player of the match, none other than Chris Gloucester for his effort tonight. Chris, massive 3 points for the black and yellow. They continue climbing the Western Conference ladder. Give us your take on this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a game where, again, two quality teams who kind of cancelled each other out. One moment of magic for New Mexico United, another solid defensive display, and another clean sheet.
Huge result here for the black and yellow. Smiles all around. As we'll go ahead and step aside, and we'll be back here in just a moment to wrap things up.
Game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's best sportsbook is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
Well, it is full time here at the Lab. New Mexico victorious over Switchbacks FC. Final score 1-0. There's Chris Gloucester, your defensive play of the match, brought to you by Valley Fence Company. But Chris, what a win here for New Mexico. As let's take a look at our full-time highlights from tonight. Break down all of the action.
Malik Howell.
A moment he'll remember undoubtedly for the rest of his life. Full-time stats here. Chris, that is not an error. Switchbacks actually had 20 shots tonight somehow. Chris Shakes walks away. Doesn't beat the first man, but he's going to get another opportunity. Goes to Melto. Great fake from Melto. Left-footed cross. Gloucester. And Gloucester, that ball just goes wide. At an Academy corner doesn't beat the first. corner doesn't beat the first man, but he's going to get another opportunity. Goes to Melto. Great fake from Melto. Left-footed cross. Gloucester. And Gloucester, that ball just goes wide. At an Academy, corner doesn't beat the first man, but he's going to get another opportunity. Goes to Melto. Great fake from Melto. Left-footed cross. Gloucester. And Gloucester, that ball just goes wide. Flicks it ahead. Melto. This is the magic man. Melto on the left foot. Crosses it in. And Shuttler lays out to grab that ball. It looked like Greg Hurst might have been on to. Flicks it ahead. Melto. This is the magic man. Melto on the left foot. Crosses it in. And Shuttler lays out to grab that ball. It looked like Greg Hurst.
It's coincided with the turnaround in terms of form.
Switchbacks will deliver, and it's the shot on goal, looking to catch Chris Shakes off guard. No problem there for the Florida native. You know, and we talk about Valentin Noel.
Not quite getting it right, playing off in the back, but they've managed to get away with it.
Somehow dodged a bullet that time. Bailey finds Gloucester, who's got plenty of space. He's got options in the middle. Cross goes in, and it's saved by Shuttler.
Both, they're just not quite getting it right, playing off in the back, but they've managed to get away with it.
Somehow dodged a bullet that time. Bailey finds Gloucester, who's got plenty of space. He's got options in the middle. Cross goes in, and it's saved by Shuttler. Spend some time with San Diego Loyal. Here's Perez, the left-footed delivery, looking for goal, and it's punched over by Chris Shakes. Also spent some time with San Diego Loyal. Here's Perez, the left-footed delivery, looking for goal, and it's punched over by Chris Shakes. Perez will play this corner, goes short to Creek, and gets it right back. Eventually, back post was looking for Talon Maples, but Chris Shakes showing off the hops there. He'll play this corner, goes short to Creek, and gets it right back. Eventually, back post was looking for Talon Maples, but Chris Shakes showing off the hops there.
Pieces New Mexico United.
Yeah.
Dylan Ryden as well, you know, like that. That's some big personalities, big leaders that they lost.
Fjellberg cuts it back. Jonas Fjellberg rattles the woodwork.
So they lost some big pieces, New Mexico United.
Yeah.
Dylan Ryden as well, you know, like that. That's some big personalities, big leaders that they lost.
Fjellberg cuts it back. Jonas Fjellberg rattles the woodwork. Sends it in, and it's sent right back out by Hurst. Perez will get a second crack. Instead finds Fjellberg. Low shot. And Shakes is there. Sends it in, and it's sent right back out by Hurst. Perez will get a second crack. Instead finds Fjellberg. Low shot. Shakes is there. But here they go again. Gloucester. Beautiful backheel flick. Here's Melto now. Finds Noel. Valentin Noel! And it just goes wide from the Frenchman. Here they go again. Gloucester. Beautiful backheel flick. Here's Melto now. Finds Noel. Valentin Noel! And it just goes wide from the Frenchman. Howell goes into that challenge, and Perez on the receiving end of it. Howell sees yellow.
It's very similar to some of the other tackles we saw earlier on as well, I think.
So on to the Western Conference Final. Nava able to flick it on. Here's Howell. Malik Howell opens up the scoring. And Malik Howell. Western Conference Final. Nava able to flick it on. Here's Howell. Malik Howell opens up the scoring. And Malik Howell opens up his account for New Mexico United. It's his first goal in black and yellow. Send New Mexico on to the Western Conference Final. Nava able to flick it on. Here's Howell. Malik Howell opens up the scoring. And Malik Howell opens up his account for New Mexico United. It slows it down and instead gives the ball away. This could be trouble. Great touch from Fjellberg. Here's Bennett now. Back to Fjellberg. And it's deflected. It goes right off of Kip Keller, who looked to be unsuspecting in that situation.
Yeah, that was another bad turnover by him.
This could be trouble. Great touch from Fjellberg. Here's Bennett now. Back to Fjellberg. And it's deflected. It goes right off of Kip Keller, who looked to be unsuspecting in that situation. This could be trouble. The shot, and it's blazed into the crowd. That was a massive. This could be trouble. The shot, and it's blazed into the crowd. That was a massive. Connects with Renix. Connects with Jabang. No foul, says the official. Bailey connects with Renix. Connects with Jabang. No foul, says the official.